Peace and blessings, people. Come with us on our trip to Zoo Atlanta. Say hi, Herbert.
Herbert. You think you see that? What? Is that cool? You scared? Why?
Oh, look at that. Look. Speaking of snake.
Look at the little baby. There's a little baby one. I like the baby. A mommy baby.
Shout out to the Atlanta Zoo. Most of the animals are not here. They're on PTO. They get breaks too. All right, here we go. And we back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another edition of This Is Recorded Podcast. Yes, we are back. We are blessed. We are happy. I've been told I'm a talker. So when I made my short video, it ended up being 20 minutes. That wasn't that short. But it was about the Black Effect. If I didn't say it already, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another edition of This Is Recorded Podcast. Black Effect. I made the short video that was 20 minutes, very short, about my time, and man, it was amazing. It was good. It gave me some perspective. It gave me some insight. But most of all, in closing, it made me feel like I'm right where I need to be. And as far as podcasting, as far as the journey, as far as where I was going, as far as where I need to be going, what I need to be focused on. And it was just an overall good time. Once again, shout out to everybody I met. DJ Head, Chuck Dizzle, A-King, who else? Todd McClain is a guy that I met. Does a podcast go by Loon. He did something with Maul. That was pretty interesting. A bunch of people, man. But the Black Effect experience, next time I go, I'll be well prepared. Next time I want to be a part of it in some form or fashion, a vendor, somebody that's working with the crew, particularly somebody on stage, but baby steps on my way there. Check out the new Yankee Fitted. Shout out to the Bronx. Yeah, it was just good. It let me know I'm right where I need to be. It let me know I got a ways to go, but it just felt good being around Black podcasts and a Black event. It felt great to be a part of the first one. So I made that connection. Go back and watch the video, Black Effect Recap. It was just a really good time, man. I really enjoyed it. But I got to stay focused. I got to get ready. And summer's coming, man. What are y'all working on? What are y'all getting ready for? Summer is right on the way. It's right around the corner. You working on those bods, those hot bods? Are you working on some projects you want to do? I just hope you outside in the sun getting that vitamin D. I hope you just outside with family, outside with friends, enjoying, being thankful for being alive, thankful for seeing another summer. Maybe you go back to your hometown. Shout out to New York City. People going to New York City. Shout out to Aunt Roz. I hope everybody is having a good time and enjoying the summer and looking forward to it, because, you know, life is about looking forward to different things. Life is better having calendars and reminders of I'm about to do this, I'm about to do that, I'm about to go here, I'm about to do this. You know, is a good thing. And there's a lot of free things, I'm sure, in the summertime in your community. They got reading programs. They got a bunch of stuff. So I hope that everybody is focused and ready for this summer to have a good time, ready to enjoy, ready to love, ready to just, just have a life-changing summer, a great summer, play some good music, some good times in the park. May 6th, when this comes out on Sunday, that following Saturday, if you're in the Fayetteville, Georgia area, the video, man, We doing something special in the park. Proud to Pay campaign. Come get your picture taken. It's gonna be a great time. But yeah, the summer's coming. You know it's official when they play that Will Smith Summertime. Here it is, a groove slightly transformed, just a little break from the norm. You know, man, come on, man. Man, my favorite part is uh, get your car washed, but you can't speed through 2 miles an hour so everybody sees you. That's my favorite bar, man, because you just sitting there riding in your whip. You like, nah, man, I gotta let them see what I'm working with. You know what I'm saying? I got my little joint washed, cleaned up, man. That was some bars, man. Let me know in the comments, did Rakim write them bars? Because if you listen to people that ghostwrite, it sounds like them, but it's for somebody else. Like, if you put Jay-Z's voice on Still's Dr. Dre, you know, you can tell. If you put people's voice on certain stuff that you've heard ghost written, if you heard Lil Bow Wow, Fresh as I'm Is, that's T.I. wrote that. You can hear his voice if you say it in their voice. So let me know if Rakim wrote Summertime. In the book, Will Smith says he wrote it, so you never know. But yeah, summertime is coming. I'm very excited for it. I want you to be excited for it. And I want you to be excited for, I want you to pay attention and learn that quality is way better than quantity. When I was at the Black Effect podcast experience, I made some connections. I talked to some people, and you know, I wanted to make more. I wanted to be there longer, but I didn't get a large quantity of people. But the quality of people I met and got connection with made sense. Made a connection with one of the guys from Trap Nerds is a podcast that was featured on Black Effect. So if you have that relationship, you nurture it. You have one connection that's already in. I made a connection. Let me grab it. The good dude, Good Sense Candles. I followed him. I talked about him before. Great candle. I haven't burned it yet. This one is Good Friday. I'm shooting this on a Friday. But I made a connection with him, and you know, possibly he might be on a podcast to do something with him. Got some information, exchange it. Good brother A King, we talked. Got some information with him and somebody else. We exchanged information. It's just some good information with different people in the podcast space. Somebody that works on Horrible Decision podcast. So what I'm saying to you is that, you know, we are so focused. We live in an era now, the past 10 years or so. It's about social media. It's about YouTube. And, you know, we see these big numbers and big numbers and big numbers. So everybody's mind is focused on big numbers. But the thing is, those numbers can sometimes just be numbers. You know, they talk about Instagram models and these girls that wear skimpy stuff and stuff like that, but they don't live nowhere nice. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, do you want to have 1 million followers and you live in a dump? Or do you want to have 1,000 followers, but what you do behind the scenes and the connections and the people you made the engine that works Instagram that can get you the 1 million followers and verify and make sure that these followers are real. So what I'm saying to you is that in life, when you're making something, you know, especially if you're creating content, you make music, you know, our brain now is focused on, we need to see 1 million views. Like, that's like the bar. We set it there and then we go down. We need to see that 1 million followers or 100,000 or this or that. But say you had 100 followers, but one of them is Jay-Z, one of them is Beyonce. You know, the people behind the scenes that write music, the people that engineer and stuff like that, these are silent partners that can go to the store and do things and work with some of your favorite artists. Work with some of the clothing brands that you wear that you don't know them, but they got money, they with their family, they could live life, they could walk right past you and you don't know. So what I'm saying to you is pay attention to the quality of people that you meet, not the quantity of people that you meet. Pay attention to the quality of work that you do, whatever your creative field is, whatever way you choose to go about making money, but not the quantity. How many people viewed it? How many people this? How many people that? Yeah, it's very important. Obviously, you want people to see it. You want people to know what you're doing, where you're going. But the most important is who's seeing it. Because, like for me, they gave out a great bar at the podcast event. They said, you know, how many people in there do a podcast. Of course, a bunch of people raise their hand. I raise my hand, everything. But he said, that's cool and that's great because, that's good that y'all do that. But podcast production, there's people that need this light I got, this camera I got, this microphone. It's people that don't know how to set it up, how to get out YouTube, Spotify, what rules you can do, what can't you. He said, pay attention to the production side because a lot of people are going to need help and a lot of people are going to need production. A lot of people are going to do podcasts that don't really go nowhere, don't get that many views, stuff like that. But they'll pay you to help and they'll pay you to set them up and set them up to make them look good and make them look a certain way and move a certain way. They'll pay you. So you just got to pay attention. You got to just make sure, come with something different. Come at a different angle because everybody's doing it. This thing is oversaturated. Podcasts are oversaturated and I'm taking the hardest route. I am by myself. I do the production. I do that. Eventually I'm going to develop a team and do different things like that, but I got to figure out where I'm going. So I don't want to lead people and I don't know where I'm going. I got to figure out where I'm going and how I'm doing it. I got to figure out my elevator pitch. Like I talked about, what exactly is your podcast about? I got to get things cleaned up. So before I entrust and bring in other people, I got to make sure my stuff is together. I got to make sure my stuff is right. And you got to do the same thing. You have to make sure your stuff is together. Your stuff is right. Don't just go out in the world and just say you're doing stuff. Don't just go out and start a podcast. You don't really know what you're talking about. I say it once, I say it again. I've seen a lot of people start a YouTube, start a podcast because they think I can do it or they do that. I'm a comedian. It's funny. They think it's easy. It's not easy. It's very hard. The views are low, but the grind and stuff will pay off if you keep it going and you make stuff and you working it out. It will pay off. So you just have to, pay attention and find a different way. Because I love podcasts. I love being around it, producing it. If it's something good, if it makes sense. So if I'm around it, I'm behind the camera doing stuff, I'll be fine with that. Because the main goal is to make enough money to take care of your family, doing something you love and doing something you're not hurting nobody, nothing like that. You're doing something, you're building on something. So if my podcast is not the one that takes off, but I'm a larger part of something else, I'm happy with that. I'm clearly fine with that. So great information, man. Man, the quality over quantity is a big thing.
All right. Hey, brother. My name's Danny, and we done fixed a lot of cars, but I don't really know if we could help this one. This right here is something we're not used to dealing with. We really think this might be a problem. This might need so much work. I don't know if we can help this thing to make it any better. But I do have something in store that I think I will make your ride shine. I will make the ladies love you. And I would think I'll make, maybe one day you can get a cool mustache like I got with a hat to the back. Let's see what me and my partners can do. Let's see if we could pimp this ride.
And, it's great information given out, and you just got to go get it. I live in Atlanta, Black Hollywood, Black excellence, Black everything. There's no excuses for me not to find a way. There's no excuses for me not to figure it out. In life, we got to be real with ourselves. A lot of us want to make excuses. If I had this, if I had that. No, sometimes you got to work harder or find another route. Maybe this is not your calling. Maybe you do something else. But you're never going to learn that until you go out and try it, until you go out and get it. So for me, I'm going out and get it. Like I said, I feel like I'm right where I need to be. I'm very thankful. I'm thankful for everybody that listens, everybody that encourages. Lil Duke sent a text. My boy G Merrick sent a text like, hey, man, how was it, man? That means a lot when people, think about you and think about things that you're doing and elevating and going towards. So everybody stay focused. Make sure you're getting that quality over quantity. Let me check my timer. This is ghetto. And, you got to figure it out, man. For me this morning, man, I had a real deep moment with myself, with my wife, man. And I'm just like, my wife has a career, she fought hard for it. It was not an easy road. It took about 8-9 years to get to where she wanted to be when it should have took 4. So she really put in the work, and really wanted something. She really wanted this nursing degree, so she went out and got it. No matter what obstacles, she's been put out of programs. She's been, discouraged. She's taken tests over, not got test scores. She's had to quit jobs for it. You know, she had to risk being late and getting rolled up and almost getting fired for it, but she really, really wanted it, so she went out and get it. There's nothing better than the inspiration of yours being right in your household. And my wife is like my biggest inspiration because of the fact that she really fought for it. I seen her just not give up. And for me, like, it developed that in me. Like, hey, don't give up. You got to figure it out. And, you know, this morning I was like, man, I was looking at my check and how much I make. And I'm like, man, it's not it. I'm 35 years old. This is not it, man. I got to get it. I got to go after it. And for me, you know, it just made me hot. I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. It just really hit me hard. But, you know, I got this 10-minute rule. I felt like somebody might have been the Humble Poet or somebody, some inspiration I listened to. And it was just like, you got to feel it, you know, for, you know, about 10 minutes. You get in your feelings. You feel a certain kind of way. Then after that, you got to figure it out because, I mean, nobody's coming to save you. Nothing's going to be different. You got to figure it out. You cannot just sit there and be pissed about like, hey, you know, this isn't going right. That's not going right. I don't know why. I'm mad. I'm down. I'm going to give up. You can't. You got to figure it out. I don't like what I'm getting paid. I got to figure it out. I don't like this relationship. I got to figure it out. I don't like this way of living. I got to figure it out. So for us, we got to figure it out. We got to take that 10 minutes, feel our feelings, do some breathing exercise, go for a walk, whatever it is. But after that 10 minutes is up, we got to go figure it out. We got to make it happen. And for me, you know, it was some very positive signs this week that I can make some things happen without a job and figure it out. But it's up to me to put the work in. It's up to me to go get it. It's up to me to do the research. It's up to me sometimes to be sleepy. It's up to me to get frustrated with something just to figure it out. But bottom line is, you got to figure it out. If you don't like something, meaning me talking to myself, I don't like how much I'm getting paid. I don't like what I'm doing at this age. I want to be further along, this, that. Figure it out. And for me, I've been getting some really good signs. I thank everybody for the encouragement. I'm getting good signs from the podcast. I'm getting good signs from the video stuff I've been working on. I've been getting good signs of like, hey, this is, you know, keep going, figure this out, and you can make something happen. I have a goal in my head, you know, and I want to reach my mark by that goal, you know. So it's just head down, tunnel vision to the goal, and I'm going to figure it out. I'm confident. I never felt so confident in my life that it's on me, that if I really put in the work, you know, and I've been putting in the work. Like I said, the dog Winnie let me know, man, I don't have time. So you got to pick your pockets. You got to prioritize your life. It made me realize, like, hey, you got to go get it and you got to make it happen, because life changes and things can happen fast. So go get it. So,
Peace and blessings, beautiful people. I hope this message find you in good peace and health. We're going to do something special. I'm trying to get myself out there. I'm trying to do good in the world. So I got to take action. I'm taking action. So all the mothers, all the kids, when's the last time you took a picture with your mom? I'll wait. You probably don't know. You probably don't remember. Well, I'm doing something about it. May 6th, right here in McCurry Park in Fayetteville, Georgia. Come out, and we're doing a Proud to Pay campaign. A Proud to Pay campaign means the pictures are technically free. That's right. They're technically free because it's really about the love. But whatever donations you want to give towards the movement, if you feel good about me, if you like what I'm doing, I will greatly take those donations and do something great with them.
So for me, it's just like, hey, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to go get it, man. And, you know, it's like training for a boxing match. You know, hey, I got this date in my head. I got to train. I got to study. I got to, you know, do this, do that, whatever it takes to figure it out, because I got to beat this opponent. The end is beating this thing. So whatever it is in your life that you want to beat, set yourself a goal, train, focus, study, whatever you got to do, and make it happen. No excuses. You know, life, you know, when it's time to pay bills, if you break the law, if you do this, you do that, no excuses. You got to pay for it. So we want to win. So that's what the outcome we're fighting for. That's the outcome we're going to get. We're going to win. So no excuses, man. Nah, man. And no excuses, and bravo to the great people over at FX and Snowfall, man. Rest in peace. The good brother, John Singleton. Snowfall was a great story. It's on Hulu. If you got Hulu, it's about drug dealing and the ups and downs And really, I love Snowfall because it shows a real depiction of the drug game and what it does to a family, and most of all, what it does to a person. And I'm not going to spoil the ending because some people never heard of Snowfall or wanted to watch it or watched it and didn't like it. The fifth season was not that great, so a lot of people fell off, but the sixth season being the last season, bravo. They literally did their thing. They worked it out. They made it great. So, man, that last ending, man, wow. It just, I don't want to say nothing about it because I want people to watch it, but Snowfall was great. And what I loved about it is that, it's like everybody has these certain things about drug dealers and different outcome. And I feel like they went for a whole new different outcome that none of us seen before in a drug dealing story. So that alone is like, for me, I want the different outcome. I'm doing a podcast by myself, talking about positivity, not negativity, doing different things a different way, just talking to one camera, figuring it out. And that's what I'm doing. I'm providing and wanting a different outcome. So they were rewarded because everybody was like just applauding and amazed by the ending of this Snowfall thing. It was like, wow, like I never seen that, and it was just great. They seen the actor Damson grow up. They just seen all these different people. Like I said before, one of the dudes used to work at the job for me. His dad used to work at my job before, but the actor that plays Leon in the show talked about how, and he said he should have kept his write-up because he got written up at work for going on an audition. And his manager told him, you're being written up because you went on the audition for a role you know you're not going to get. And he said he wished he kept that because now he's a part of one of the biggest shows ever. In this life, man, a lot of people are going to discourage you. In this life, man, a lot of family, loved ones, your spouse, anybody, they might just be like, they don't get it. They don't understand what you're doing. But when you're focused on something and you're not hurting nobody, and you got to be careful because on your road, you can end up losing people because you're so focused on that, so you got to kind of choose, like, do you want that? But what I'm saying is a lot of people not going to understand your vision. But if you keep working towards your vision and you keep grinding and you keep making things happen and you stay focused and you stay focused and you stay focused, an outcome like that could happen. You go from working a job, not knowing where you're going in life, not going to college, nothing, but knew you wanted to be an actor, getting wrote up saying you're going somewhere, you're not going to get this role. So being part of one of the biggest shows and one of the arguably best drug dealing shows in history, in Black history, man. So for everybody, man, stay motivated. That could be you. That story, his name is Isaiah John, the actor that plays Leon. That story could be you. I want that story to be me. Like, hey, look, man, they didn't know what he was doing. He had this podcast thing. He was off and on with it. He had guests and he didn't have guests, and I don't know what he's doing. And sometimes the audio was bad and this and that. And he figured it out, though. For all of us, we got to figure it out. And we got to bring something different to the table. That's what I'm doing with this podcast. There's so many podcasts out there. But it's like, what are you saying? What are you bringing different? Everybody talking about, okay, so this week, what do we talk about? Of course, rest in peace to Jerry Springer. So we're going to share Jerry Springer stories. We're going to do albums and who likes this album and who likes that album. What else we're going to talk about? Just basically these podcasts that are huge usually talk about the same couple of topics, but they give their opinion. And all of us will listen to it because we like different podcasts and different people for different reasons. So be different. What are you bringing to the table? I try to steer away. I take the hard route. I take the calculus, the AP science. I steer away from everyday topics and try to come with my own original content about life. Like I said before, I journey through life, and then on Friday or Saturday, I try to come up with what I want to say and how it relates to me, but how could it also relate to you? That's what this is recorded is about. It's loving conversations about getting better, building each other up better. And how could I relate to you, the person that's listening, the person that's watching? That's what this is recorded is about. It's recorded conversations about elevating, about growing, about making you better. But this is me bringing something different to the table. What do you bring different to the table? Peace and blessings, beautiful people. I want you to go check out Pimp My Ride. You know, I love old shows, old things I was into, so I love to make fun. I grew up on Dave Chappelle skits, so I'm jumping out, I'm doing different things. Go check out my MTV Cribs video. Go check out all the videos. Like I said, May 6th, if you could make it out to McCurry Park, Fayetteville, Georgia, check out the May 6th video. Check out all the videos I got. Tell a friend and tell a friend, but go ahead and check out Pimp My Ride. I would greatly appreciate it. Tell people what we're doing over here. This is recorded. You got some ideas. Let's make it happen. Let's figure it out. Let's grow together. Let's be great. And this is recorded. Also, throughout my journey throughout the week, I learned that in life, you can't take a lot of things personal. When you're working on something, when you're building something, when you're talking to friends, when you're talking to family, and they don't understand, or if you've had this life where you don't say much about things that affect you, you don't say much about your feelings, you don't say much about things that hurt you, so you just let people treat you any kind of way, you let people talk to you any kind of way, but then you start saying stuff about anything in life, anything that bothers you. When you start, saying no. No is the most powerful word in the dictionary. When you start moving differently, people might treat you funny. People might act like you're the problem. People might act like, I don't want to be bothered with you, but they'll realize that they're wrong. And when you talk to people and you express yourself and, you're moving different in life, man, you got to learn that, you can't take it personal when they don't understand you. They don't understand where you're coming from. Because the people that really love you, the people that's really in your corner, they're going to have to understand. This is their journey. This is what they want to do. This is how they want to be. So I have to respect that. I have to just go along with it. I have to know, like, hey, if I love them, I'm going to go with them on this journey. If I love them, I'm going to figure it out. If I love them, I'm going to apologize. If I love them, I'm going to make things right. If I love them, I want to make things better. We have to understand that, sometimes people don't want to be bothered. We have to understand that sometimes, people are going through something and we may not know what they're going through. But we also have to understand sometimes when you speak up and people don't like it and they feel some kind of way, hey, they're fighting a battle. Sometimes when you talk to people, and you tell them things and they don't want to hear it, they try to get standoffish from you, or they move back from you, or they pull away from you. You can't take it personal. Sometimes when you're elevating in life and you're doing good and you're wondering why, like, dang, man, this person not happy for me, that person not happy for me, we don't talk like we used to. Can't take it personal. Everybody's fighting their own battles. Everybody's fighting their own thing, and they're going through their own thing. But one thing you have to know and understand is that you have to be 100% you, and you have to be 100% happy for you. And everybody's not going to feel that way. Everybody's not going to share the journey that you're on. Everybody's not going to want to do the things that you do. So with that in mind, you just have to keep going. You have to keep pushing, knowing that you're right, but also knowing that if you're wrong, you are able and you're grown enough to say, hey, I was wrong. I thought this way at this time and I was wrong, and I apologize. I want to make things right. I want to make things better. But for me, when I learned that, hey, I want to stand on this, or I feel this way, or I don't feel this way anymore, I had to learn that, hey, I can't take it personal, man, because this is what I want. This is my journey. This is my passion. So I can't take it personal that you don't understand at the time. I don't know what you're going through. I talk a lot about parents. We don't know what they went through in their childhood. That doesn't make it right if, the parents are treating you a certain way and you don't like it anymore. When you speak up for yourself, it's up for them to make that decision. But like I said before with the escape situation, when the lady confronted her mom and said, hey, mom, you make me feel this way. It really hurts, but I'm drawing this line in the sand right now. You cannot treat me like this no more, or we can't have a relationship. Big thing that I think about also is you have to stand on something. When you make a statement, when you make a choice, and you tell a person how you feel and what you need from them, you have to be ready to deal with whatever consequences that is. Meaning, if they don't talk to you anymore, till death do you part, you have to be cool with that. You have to stand on something that if it's going to alter your relationship, if it's going to make somebody feel a certain kind of way, you have to stand on that. Everything we do in this life, we have to stand on. We cannot pussyfoot around what we have to say. We cannot pussyfoot around our dreams and stuff like that. We have to stand on what we want. We have to stand on our goals. We have to stand on our dreams, our mission, and how we want to be treated. You know, I don't like that saying life is short, but when you think about it, we want to live forever. So in that grand scheme of living forever, when most of us, you know, I mean, say we all live to 100, you're going to think that's not long enough. So with that being said, you have to make people treat you a certain way. You have to demand respect. You have to demand love. You have to demand encouragement. You have to let people know how you feel. A lot of us live this life of we're real passive and we just, you know, want to avoid things and we don't want no problems. But what a beautiful life that if everybody in your life, you genuinely want them there and they all make you feel good because you have eliminated, you let people know how you feel. They fail to do better and you let them go and hopefully they grow and they stay over there and you keep your small circle of the people that really love you, the people that elevate you, the people that grow with you. In this life, stand on something. Don't let nobody that treats you, mother, father, wife, husband, child, treat you bad. Understand, have a conversation with them, give people chances, let's grow together. But once they fail to do that, and once people show you who they are, they say when somebody shows you who they are, believe them, make that decision that we gonna go our separate ways. And hopefully, because I hope like that for everybody. I hope that for people that have a bad relationship with their parents, especially stuff like that. Hey, before this life ends and we both close our eyes forever, I hope we get it right. But in this life, you have to make the choice. Like, hey, I'm not dealing with this no more until you treat me better, till we treat each other better, and we have a real relationship. There's a lot of people that's going to die and leave this earth that have terrible relationships. There's a lot of people that's going to die living with somebody that they hated, sleeping with somebody every night that they hated, that treat them wrong. They're going to leave this earth like that. Don't let that person be you. Don't let that person that everybody stepped all over you. Don't let that person be you. Don't let that person that, you know, everybody took advantage of. Don't let that be you. Don't let that person, if I felt fake love, I didn't never really feel love. Don't let that be you. Get that circle smaller and smaller and smaller till it's microscopic. Get it till it's microscopic almost. If it has to be that, if you had one or two people that really loved you the way you needed to be loved and gave you the encouragement and gave you the feeling you needed, that's more than enough. Like I said earlier, we stuck on these numbers of followers and views and this and that, but the numbers that matter is like, hey man, the people that really love me, the people that made me feel special, people I wake up in the morning thinking about, the people that I see something on TV I think of them, I listen to the music, I know that they into this, I know that into that. Those people matter. All them followers you got and stuff like that, that don't matter. If it's genuine, it matters, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, these people, we flick through stuff, you know, we see things, oh, this person died, oh man, that's sad. Big booty pic, I'ma like that. Oh, this person died, oh, that's sad. Funny story, make your circle, make your people, make your loved ones, people that's really going to care. You know, it's a lot of family out there that does not support and encourage you. It's a lot of family out there that doesn't really, you know, breathe life into you. There's a lot of family that doesn't speak to you. You can't remind yourself of the last time you held a conversation. Family is something that you're inherit, but I feel like a lot of people need to work. You need to work for an aunt, a mom, or this, or that. You know, you honor mother and father. You definitely do, but at a certain point in your life, if it doesn't make you feel good, you express that. What are you going to do? You going to get beat up forever? Or are you going to express that, or are you going to draw that line in the sand with anybody that I don't feel this way? I don't like that. I'm not feeling that. You have to love and live. Like I said, we want to be 100, but in actuality, we might not make it there. Harry Belafonte, rest in peace. He made the 96. He lived a great life. Appreciate all what he did for black people. But Harry Belafonte was also a person that stood his line in the sand, and he didn't like this, and he disagreed with different people. He knew who he was. I want all of us, man, through this podcast and through life, to figure out who we are, figure out what we want, and figure out where we're going. Hey, man, I spit that, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. Steve Harvey. I was watching, shout out to Shannon Sharp, Club Shay podcast, YouTube. If you listen to a podcast, it's a podcast version. Shannon Sharp was just, man, he had this interview with Steve Harvey, and Steve Harvey was just talking about all the things he'd been through. And I don't know too much about Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey's always been there through radio for me. He's been there earlier in the 90s. He has his own show. He's been there with Apollo, and he just talked about some of his hardships and some of his things. And, with me being 35 and, trying to go elevate, and I'm not happy where I'm at, different things, and I'm elevating and I'm learning, I hear another story of like, hey, a guy that didn't get his big break until he was about 38 is what he was saying. He was homeless. He had kids when he wasn't ready. He was married, but he figured it out. I really would encourage you to go listen to that Club Shay, Shannon Sharp. Salute to Shannon Sharp. Go listen to that with Steve Harvey. Also, go listen to that Earn Your Leisure. Those guys, too, just take this podcast and super motivators. They took this podcast game to a whole nother level where they hold festivals and everything. And this is all within 3 years. They started working in the pandemic off an iPhone. Anything is possible. Shout out to KG. Steve Harvey just talked about, man, when he got the Apollo job, he just was like, look, I didn't have no money. I was calling my parents, telling them like, look, I'm about to go home. He talked about, man, washing up in hotels and rest stops and stuff when he was homeless, and he didn't have no money. And they was like, hey, can you get to New York he was calling his parents. I'm going to tell the story quickly. He was calling his parents, tell them, hey, I'm about to just come home, I'm about to get a job, I'm going to figure it out. But they didn't answer, but they had an answer machine back in the day, for you don't know. So the answer machine, he got on it, he checked it. He said it was a guy that said, he didn't have no phone, no cell phone. This is a guy that said, hey, it was like a Thursday. He said, hey, I would love to have you in New York on Sunday if you could get this Apollo, if you could audition for this Apollo job. So he had no money. He probably had like $30 or something. Hung up the phone, and he was like, dang. Then he said he got another beep on his voicemail. It was another guy. He said, hey, Steve, check this out. He was in Pensacola, Florida. He said, hey, we got a gig in Jacksonville, Florida, something like that. And he said that, hey, if you could get here, I got $150 for you. Got off the phone, rushed, went over there, did the gig, got $150. He said, you do it again, I got another $150. So that was Friday. Then that's Saturday. Then he said back in the day, it was a certain type of flight that he can go and get for $100. So he had like $300 something, went to New York. He had just 2 bags to his name. That's all he had. He went to New York, and he said he went to audition. He got the role. He got the job. He elevated with Apollo. Apollo turned into the Steve Harvey Show, and he just keep going and going and going. Then he talked about after Kings of Comedy, stuff like that. In 2005, he went through a bad divorce. He also was hit with tax problems where a lawyer was taking his money, and he didn't pay taxes for 7 years, and he owed $22 million in taxes. And it was almost like he was going to jail. He didn't know how to avoid it, stuff like that. They said, check this out. You could pay $600,000 a month to make up this tax thing, and if you miss one payment, we're going to send you to jail. Usually people, if they don't pay their taxes for 7 years, let me talk about taxes real quick. Pay your taxes, because if not, you could go to jail. Lauryn Hill, Wesley Snipes, people like that, you can go to jail. So he didn't pay his taxes. So when he had $600,000 a month, he said in 2005, when he went through that divorce, Steve Harvey in 2005, after Kings of Comedy, Steve Harvey show, all of this stuff, had $1,700 to his name. That's all he had. But he said, you know what? I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to work. He said he got on the call. He was calling his lawyer, but he heard people talking. They said, there's no way this guy's going to be able to make this money up. He going to go to jail. So he hung up the phone. He heard them talking. He hung up the phone. And he was like, wow, this is so real. I done did all these things. I have $1,700 to my name. What he did, he said, I got to work. Little big shots. He said, Family Feud, this, that, this, the radio show. He sold like a portion of his radio show. He just kept working. He said he did every weekend. After the radio show, he did every comedy club. He just worked. And he was able to pay off that $22 million. So he had to pay that in taxes. Plus, he's probably, just rounded to $30 million. He had to pay $600,000 a month. Then living expenses, everything. And he figured it out. Man, Steve Harvey dropped so much gems in that thing, but one thing that really stuck with me and should really stick with you, he said, out of all the days we had, all the hard days, out of all the pain, out of all the people we lost, out of all the sickness we overcame, out of all the hurt that was in our heart, out of all the people that did us wrong, out of all the bad days, everybody from the sound of my voice has 100% survival rate. Let me say that one more time. You have a 100% survival rate out of everything you've been through. Maybe somebody's been suicidal. Maybe somebody just didn't want it no more. But you didn't do it. You survived. Maybe somebody didn't know how they was going to live again, how they was going to make this money up, how they was going to get this car fixed, how they was going to pay for this house, how they was going to get this house, how they was going to find a meal. But guess what? If you're listening to this, you're watching it, you on a phone, you watch the TV, computer, whatever, you have a 100% survival rate. We are blessed, y'all. We are loved. We are living. We are here. And with every chance, the Most High, Allah, God, whatever you call it, whatever you believe in, even if you don't believe in this. Every day we wake up, we get another chance at this thing called life. We have to make the best of it. Whatever we don't like, we have to change it. We can't get mad at it. We can't get frustrated. We can't get discouraged. We have to go into our little brain and figure out the combination. We have to unlock our greatness because it's in there. It's in you. It's in me. We just have to unlock it. This week, I speak into existence, man, that you unlock your purpose, that you figured out what you really want to do in this life, and you figure it out, that you really work at it, that you really love the process, you fall in love with the grind, you fall in love with the hard days. Most of all, you fall in love with yourself, and you unlock your full potential and your full purpose. And it's not going to be easy. You might not get no help. You might lose people along the way. But you unlock your full potential. And this is, as the sun shines beautiful on me, recorded.
Trade the future.